Hey, mythology kiddos. Today, we're going to take some notes on another goddess archetype. And I thought this was probably the easiest way to get you the notes. You can see in your archetype document, you have some spaces to write down some definitions and stuff like that. So today, we're looking at the triple goddess archetype, which is a really cool archetype. We see it all the time in movies and television shows and stuff like that. And we'll kind of talk about some of some of the examples of those. So let's just get into it. So we sort triple goddesses into three main categories. We have the virgin, we have the mother, we have the crone. And we can see this in our modern media all the time. Like, I think about, anytime you've seen the Fates in a movie, that's triple goddesses. Usually you have one young fate, you have one middle-aged fate, and then you have one older near-death fate. And then, they're cutting the strings of life. We see that in the cartoon Hercules, the Disney cartoon Hercules. I'm also thinking about the old movie Hocus Pocus, which has three witches, which oftentimes triple goddesses are described as witches. And so, you have the younger witch who is very attractive and seems very virginal. You have the middle-aged witch that seems like kind of motherly, taking care of everybody else. And then you have the older witch that is nearing death, is a crone-like figure. Like in the TV show Game of Thrones, one of the religions in that world has this within their gods and goddesses. They have a triple goddess where they have the virgin, the mother, and the crone, and people pray to those gods and those goddesses. And so we see this all over in our media and our literature. This is a very popular archetype in mythology, is this triple goddess. The problem with it, and what a lot of people have criticized of this archetype, is that it's very sexist. And so, we have the virgin, the mother, and the crone, and we're dividing women into three categories based off of their ability to bear children. The virgin would be someone who has not born children anymore or hasn't born children yet. The mother, someone who has children right now, is bearing children. And the crone is defined by her lack of ability to have children. She's past her prime childbearing years, and so no longer attractive. And that is very sexist. So some mythology theorists, and the one primarily is Marija Gimbutas, have said that we need to refine and revise our titles for this. So we're going to, underneath your three, there's spots for you to talk about these. So she has given us three new titles. So the first one is a goddess of life. And the goddesses of life are maternal. They're connected to the living earth. There are mother earth figures, right? So Gaia from our Greek mythology is a prime example. They are oftentimes associated with primeval creation, and they are seen as protectors as well as nurturers. So when we go back to our original, that fits very, very well with our mother figure, right? A goddess of life is a mother figure. They're nurturing, they're protecting, they're giving creation, they're giving life to people, and giving life to their creations. So then the second one that Gimbutas says is a goddess of death. They are seen as queens of the underworld. This is like Persephone and Isis. They control the cycle of growth, decay, rebirth, and the seasons. They're oftentimes portrayed as witches, like the Greek witch Hecate. They can be portrayed as fates, right? Like the Norse Norns, the Greek fates. And so when we go back to our original one, that fits very well with our idea of the crone. So we have our goddesses of death. We have a female goddess that is nearing death or is in control of death, is in control of that death cycle. And then the last one we have is a goddess of regeneration, a goddess of rebirth. So they often refer to a sexuality. They appear as virgins or nymphs in myths. And so we can see that connects back to our virginal one. But I think it also could refer to the mother, right? Because we have that cycle of life, death, regeneration, and rebirth. And then two other mythology theorists, Leonard and McClure, they said their pulsing sexuality Their pulsing sexual energies impel mortal creation to renew itself, and thus their influence redeems individual mortality through beauty, passion, and offspring. And virginal regeneration goddesses oftentimes try to bestow their favors on mortal men, but then it rarely seems to work out. The two myths that you're going to look at today are regeneration goddesses, where they attract mortal men and then it doesn't work out for the mortal men later on. So they just have changed the titles of these, and we can see that our virgin now is a goddess of regeneration. The mother could be a goddess of life or regeneration, and the crone is our goddess of death. So if you need to go back and pause where I have the definitions for these so you can write them down, that's perfectly fine. But just make sure that you write down those definitions, and then go ahead and read the two stories that are underneath your notes section. There's actually one to read and then one to watch. Make sure you fill out the boxes, and then go ahead and turn it in. Enjoy your triple goddess myths today. Bye.